Unexpected bombshell. Manchester United may be saying goodbye to one of its players after a poor performance against Manchester City. Subscribe, share, and let's go. Manchester United's trip to the Etihad was always expected to be a difficult test, and very few observers would have predicted an upset win against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Still, what the Derby defeat highlighted once again is the enormous gulf in class that currently exists between United and their neighbours. While City may not be quite as dominant as in previous years, with Liverpool and Arsenal looking strong in the title race, Guardiola's men remain streets ahead of Ruben Amorim's Manchester United. The defeat not only left United languishing in mid-table early in the campaign but also raised serious questions about some of the personnel Amorim continues to rely upon. Chief among them is Luke Shaw, the long-serving fullback whose career at Old Trafford has been defined by moments of promise, flashes of brilliance, but ultimately a lack of consistent delivery. Signed from Southampton in 2014, Shaw was once hailed as one of the most exciting young defenders in world football. He arrived as a teenager with huge potential, and under Louis van Gaal, it looked as though United had secured their left-back for the next decade. However, persistent injury problems, spells of inconsistent form, and a lack of reliability have meant that Shaw's career has never quite lived up to the expectations placed upon him. At his best, Shaw has been a dynamic force, capable of surging runs down the flank, precise delivery into the box, and solid defensive work. He played a key role for both club and country during some of his strongest spells, reminding everyone of the talent that first caught United's attention. Yet those periods of form have been punctuated far too often by lengthy absences, setbacks, and games where he has looked off the pace. The Manchester Derby was a stark example of those shortcomings. Faced with the physical dominance and relentless movement of Erling Haaland, Shaw was exposed repeatedly. He struggled to cope with City's attacking patterns, and his contribution both defensively and going forward left much to be desired. The performance drew widespread criticism, with many questioning whether United can ever hope to catch their rivals if players like Shaw continue to play such prominent roles. One journalist who didn't mince words was Kevin Palmer, writing for the Sunday World. Taking to social media after the game, Palmer argued that United should finally cut ties with the 30-year-old defender. His assessment echoed what many fans have long suspected, that the club's patience with Shaw has run its course. For over a decade, United have been waiting for Shaw to fully deliver on his potential, and after countless setbacks, the evidence suggests that time is up. It's not as though there aren't potential suitors. Back in August, reports surfaced of interest from Saudi Arabia in bringing Shaw to the Pro League. While nothing materialized in the summer, there is every chance that those links could resurface in January, especially given the financial power of Saudi clubs and their determination to attract high-profile names from Europe. For Shaw, a move to the Middle East might provide both a lucrative final contract and a fresh environment to escape the constant scrutiny of Premier League football. From United's perspective, such a move could make sense too. Ruben Amorim's tactical system often relies on wide defenders being versatile, athletic, and capable of transitioning quickly between attack and defense. Shaw, particularly in a back three, looks unsuited to the demands. While he might still offer value as a backup option, especially with someone like Patrick Dorgu arriving to take on a leading role, Shaw should no longer be relied upon as a consistent starter. That isn't to say Shaw hasn't had his moments. His resilience in bouncing back from a career-threatening leg break earlier in his career, his standout performances in certain stretches, and his experience at the highest level mean he still brings qualities that should not be entirely dismissed. But as United seek to close the gap with the likes of City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, they cannot afford to keep depending on players who are too often inconsistent or unavailable. The statistics from the Derby underscore the point. Shaw received a SofaScore rating of just 6.2/10 for his performance at the Etihad, reflecting his struggles both in and out of possession. Against one of the strongest sides in Europe, United needed their experienced players to stand tall and deliver. Instead, Shaw looked overwhelmed, and his inability to cope with the challenge added to the sense of inevitability surrounding the result. For Ruben Amorim and the Ineos leadership, tough decisions lie ahead. Sentiment and loyalty have too often dictated United's squad planning in the past, leaving the team bloated with players who no longer fit the vision of where the club is trying to go. Shaw's case may soon be added to that list. With younger, hungrier, and more physically reliable players available on the market, it's difficult to justify continuing to build around him. United's struggles are, of course, not down to Shaw alone. There are systemic issues in midfield, question marks about the goalkeeper situation, and uncertainty over the forward line. But Shaw's performance in such a high-profile fixture serves as a symbol of a wider problem, a team that too often relies on players who are past their peak or unable to perform consistently at the elite level. As the January transfer window approaches, the possibility of Saudi Arabia returning with an offer could provide United with a timely opportunity. Offloading Shaw would not only bring in a transfer fee but also free up wages for reinvestment. More importantly, it would signal a willingness to make the tough decisions necessary to reshape the squad into one capable of competing at the top again. For now, Luke Shaw remains a Manchester United player, and he may yet contribute in certain games, particularly as a squad option. But the writing appears to be on the wall. The Derby defeat highlighted once more that he is not the long-term answer, and if United are serious about returning to the summit of English football, difficult choices must be made. Whether in January or next summer, the end of Shaw's time at Old Trafford feels closer than ever.